Hello, I'm Rye Fox. Welcome to my channel, I Hate Rock Music. And today I want to talk about the band Crush. And of course, they had problems just like Dinosaur Jr. did with other bands named Crush, so they had to call themselves Crush Senior. And a really interesting band out of Boston. I know they don't get much acclaim, but I think they were a truly awesome band, and you can get all their records pretty cheap right now. I stumbled across them just because I'd go to the local punk rock record store, Fallout Records, and pretty much buy anything that looked cool. So I was buying armloads of singles a week. I lived about 2 blocks away, and so I would just buy a lot of stuff that looked really cool. And I wasn't disappointed when I got Crush. Their first single came out in 1990 called Sexy Fish with a flip side 30-30 face. And it was everything I loved about Mission to Burma and Volcano Suns. And it turns out they have a connection to those bands, but I was really floored. The singer has lots of swagger and attitude and is hilarious, and the riffs were just massive, and the band just careened, just wonderful stuff. And so I eventually ended up buying, that was actually 1989. And I ended up buying their next couple singles too. In 1990, they came out with one, Squeaky, uh, backed with Taller Than Jesus. And it was just more of the same, and a really fun little song about dancing with Squeaky from the Manson family. Then in 1990, they put out their last single called "Welcome to Fistville," with the flip side being "I Couldn't Make It Over the Bridge." And "Welcome to Fistville" is just a rock anthem. And one of their specialties is just finding a great riff and just pounding it. There's not a lot of embellishments. There's not a lot of arrangements. They're just straightforward, unrelenting rock music, and the solos are here and there are just out of control. Just he just lets it fly, and I love that kind of guitar soloing. And so for me, they're just an amazing band. They put out their CD finally in 1993 called Clown Sessions, and it includes all their singles and all the stuff they recorded. Although I have to say I'm disappointed because it's not complete. It doesn't have 30-30 Face, and it doesn't have Taller Than Jesus. And both of those songs are really great. So it's really disappointing to me that not all their material is on the CD. But they originally were on an independent label called Time to Develop. And by the time they put out their Welcome to Fistville single in 1990, they were on Feel Good All Over, which was still an independent label but had a lot higher profile. But the band was kind of a super group in a way. It was Gary Wylick from Big Dipper on guitar, Bob Weston on bass, of course from Volcano Suns, and more recently Shellac, and Bob Fay on drums from Sabota. And then this wacky dude, Ron Ward, was the drummer for the Blood Oranges, and he fronted this band. And you can tell that more or less, I think most of the lyrics were either written on the spot or improvised. And one of the things I love about the band is it's just the pure joy of rock. They're having a great time. They're rocking out really hard. They obviously didn't spend much time fussing. I think they recorded a lot of the stuff live and then embellished them with hand claps and little things in backup vocals that kind of made them hold together a little better. And Sean Slade produced them. He was a big producer in Boston, so their records sound really good. But I just think they're so great. They kind of have that Mission of Burma Volcano Suns vibe, but just a sense of the pure joy of playing great loud rock and roll. And for me, that's what it's all about, and they really capture that. And so I highly recommend them. As I say, nobody seems to talk about them. You can get their album and all their singles really cheap, and they're just wonderful. I'll post a bunch of stuff below, and you can find out yourself. But it's almost like they stumbled upon greatness accidentally, and just would go in and record and let it fly. And Ron Ward would just make up these crazy lyrics like "living like a pimp" and dirty rig joyride and living like a pimp and sweet cheetah. I mean, this stuff is just great. So anyway, Everybody else kind of went back to their other bands, and Ron Ward ended up being in another wacky band called Spitball Baby, and their stuff's a lot of fun too. But I think Crush were a really great band. They don't get much respect, but I think they're one of my favorites of that period, and highly recommend them. So I'll put the links below. Check them out, see what you think. But if you like big loud rock and you like Volcano Suns and you like Mission to Burma, you can't go wrong. I'm Brian Fox. Thanks for watching I Hate Rock Music.